Okay, I am Jack McGack, once again coming at you live from underneath my table. You might be wondering why I'm not in the studio. It's because, well, I'm not in the studio today, A. But B, I only uploaded one video this weekend. I would love to say I'm super busy, but I really wasn't. It's just that the other video I made sucked, so I had to completely scrap it and then start again with a new one the next day. So, with that all out of the way, I am bringing you I guess an emergency video for the weekday. Enjoy. Yet another 10 movies that you should watch right now. With this one, we're talking about M. Night Shyamalan again. His most underrated movie, that's what I wrote, but I don't know if it's the most underrated movie. I guess so. Knock at the Cabin with Dave Bautista, Ben Alderaj, Rupert Grint. This has some really great, thrilling, suspenseful moments. M. Night Shyamalan isn't always the best writing dialogue, but when it comes to writing a thrilling scene, he's your guy. This has such a sad ending with some really wild stuff happening. But it's not like the book ending, which was like that, but on steroids. So, it's different from the original novel. And after you're done watching the movie, maybe look at the original novel, either read it or read a synopsis or something, and you can see how different they are. I never read it, but it sounds pretty wild. Basically, a couple are at a cabin, and then these people kind of break in, and they're like, you have to kill one of your family to save the world. So this next one, I might have to devote a whole video to, just talking about all of them, because in this video I want to keep it short and sweet. But this is Rise, Dawn, War, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. They all fit perfectly back to back. I think they're all on Hulu. If you're like unemployed, you're like that one unemployed friend. I don't know, watch all of them in a row. It'd be crazy. The VFX, even in the first movie, look like really good, especially for 2011. And then they just keep getting better for every movie. I love these movies, man. This is another franchise movie. I guess I would lump this in with Mad Max Fury Road as well, but this one is much less talked about because it didn't make that much money. Furiosa. Now, if you guys can just go on to Hulu or whatever it's on, it's Disney, right? So it'd be Hulu. I would think. Or am I being an idiot? It's not. Anyway, or maybe it's on Max. I'm thinking about this. Whatever streaming service is on, go watch it, please, because maybe you can save hope for a fifth Mad Max movie. It's a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, and it's about Furiosa. I mean, it's pretty right there in the title. Definitely there's some brutal violence in this one. The action's great. I would recommend Furiosa. Taking out of franchise movies, we have another Spielberg movie with Catch Me If You Can. Now, as you can see, I'm sorry about that. I dropped my phone. This one's called Catch Me If You Can, and it's about a genius kid who gets away with almost everything. He becomes a doctor, but he never went to. It shows it all in this trailer. He faked his way into all these things, stole all this money. Doesn't sound that interesting, but trust me, it is. It really grips you in its story, and Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio were great in this movie. Spielberg is one of those directors who almost never fails to impress me. He only really has a couple of bad movies like Ready Player One, a BFG, or a 1941. This next one is a horror sci-fi movie, Totally Killer. It's like Back to the Future meets like a slasher movie. It's pretty cool. You see in this movie This girl's mom gets murdered by the Sweet 16 killer who comes back because he was a killer in the 80s and he comes back. Dude, why does Snapchat always send me notifications when I'm screen recording? But anyway, she time travels back to the 80s to stop him from killing her mom in the first place. And she goes back to the 80s. It's like a 2023 girl in 1987. And you see all the cultural differences. Um, it's pretty cool. It's a good movie. Not great, but good. This one I bet a lot of people forgot about. It's called Real Steel, and it's actually really, really good. Basically, we live in a future world where Hugh Jackman controls robots and fights them. Basically, boxing has been replaced by robot boxing. It's oddly enough based on a Twilight Zone episode. And it's this son he never saw really. Um, and they have to bond together. And there's this robot they find in the junkyard, and then they box with the robot. It sounds so simple and stupid, but it's actually really good. This one is again a little more well known. It is 2008's Cloverfield. I mean, I saw great reviews for this, but I was blown away, really, because I mean, it's a found footage Godzilla movie, and that doesn't sound good, but it is. I knew it would be like good enough, but it's actually like really good, man. I was kind of shocked by the quality. It's just a really quality film. I like it. And this one I don't know I didn't talk about before because it's fairly similar to Totally Killer. It's Happy Death Day. It's a combination of like a slasher movie again, but with Groundhog Day, where a day repeats over and over again. But this time, she has to survive the night without getting murdered. If there's one drawback here, it's that the killer is not super interesting. Like, you're intrigued to see who it is. And the reveal is good, but it's just the actual killer themselves is so bland. It's just like every modern horror movie just has to have a guy in a random mask, a black hoodie, and jeans with a knife. It's a pretty good movie though. Although this goes for Totally Killer and this as well. It's not really just a straight slasher horror movie. It's kind of a comedy. And the last one is very random. It's some random movie you've probably never heard of from 1979 called Escape from Alcatraz. And it shows the true story of how three people, well, escape from Alcatraz. I mean, it's a solid movie. It might not look super appealing because it's like pretty old. It's very suspenseful. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. Good movie. But that is it for today's movie suggestions. I think I want to do part 5 at some point, but I don't have enough. I need a couple more for it to be another. Oh no! I was holding it against the bottom, well, kind of this part of the table, and it slipped. But I don't have a full 10 for the next video, so it might be another minute, but I got some pretty interesting ones coming up. Yeah, that's it for our part 4 here. So, sorry about not uploading as much, and I'll see you guys soon.